Welcome everyone to our Savvy Ladies Wednesday Wisdom webinar. My name is Maggie Montemuro and I'm the Marketing Coordinator at Savvy Ladies. If you have a question during the presentation, please type it into the chat window. Or if you're joining us by phone, you can email your question to info@savvyladies.org. Our presenter today is Brittney Castro, Certified Financial Planner and founder and CEO of Financially Wise Women. Brittney focuses on working with women and helps them understand money in simple and fun ways. We're looking forward to gaining confidence with our money and want to thank you for being here with us today, Brittney. And we'll get started when you're ready.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Maggie. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation today called 9 Steps to Becoming a Financially Wise Woman. I'm super honored to be here teaching this webinar to you. I think it's such an amazing way to start off our day with financial education and empowerment. And, you know, I always just like to say, first off, I'm so proud of you for taking the time to be on this webinar, being on this call. I know it's hard enough managing all the different things we have in life, and to carve out an hour of your day to learn more about money, to feel empowered as a woman with money is truly incredible. So I hope you feel really good about that. Just a little bit about me before we dive right in. I am a certified financial planner. I've been doing this now going on 10 years, and I have my own company called Financially Wise Women based here in Los Angeles. So I definitely love working with women. I specialize in women entrepreneurs and professionals and really just help them understand money in a whole new way, develop a financial plan and budget, to reach their financial goals long term, and just feel empowered and inspired with their money in a whole new way. So today we really just want to dive into figuring out, how do we understand financial planning as this stronger, more empowered generation of women? And I'm sure all of you joining us today are super smart, savvy women out there managing your careers, managing your family, managing your kids, managing all the different activities you do in life, and probably just never had the opportunity to learn about money and finance in a way that made sense for you. So that's really the goal of this presentation, to help you understand a little bit more about where we are in terms of this female economy. You know, we've made a lot of progress as women in terms of gaining control over money, having the opportunities to manage our money and use our money in a whole new way, but there's still a lot of challenges that exist for us as well. Then we'll dive into specifically why you need to start financial planning and understand that financial planning and really mapping out your financial future is your responsibility, and it doesn't have to be so scary, and it can be really exciting if we learn about it in a new, empowered way. So that's where we leave off with those 9 easy steps or tips to help you become a financially wise woman and feel confident going out there to plan out your financial future and really address any challenges you face in your financial life in a whole new way. We definitely will leave time at the end for questions, and please, 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 it's, you know, just really wonderful if you can ask any questions that you have, because not only does it help you, but it helps everybody else joining us. And I really believe that when one woman is brave enough to ask the question that she needs to ask, it opens the door for everyone to feel comfortable asking those questions around money or finance. So please just get your questions ready, because I would love to be able to help you and answer them in any way I can. So to start us off, you know, if I had a theme song, which if any of you follow me on social media, you would know that I love to dance and I love music. And if I had a theme song right now, it would definitely be Beyonce's Who Run the World song. Because the reality is, if you look at all the statistics right now, we really live in this female economy. Women are taking over in terms of becoming the primary breadwinners of the household. We're definitely participating in the workforce. You can see 1 billion women are working worldwide. And we're still the ones responsible for a lot of the household spending. And in fact, I think the statistics still average about 83% of household decisions in terms of spending are made by women or the woman of the household. So to say that we run the world is definitely a little bit of an understatement. So we've made tremendous progress when it comes to taking control of our finances. And in 2010, the number shifted, and about 60% of America's wealth is in the hands of women. And, while there's probably a lot of different factors that go into this, I think one of the biggest factors of that number right there is the fact that we live longer than men. So by default, women are becoming the controllers of the wealth of America, and I think it's time we really address money and financial planning in a way that serves the women who are controlling the wealth, and it allows them to understand money in a new way, and maybe not the traditional, very I like to say stuffy financial way that most institutions and financial advisors still really operate. We're definitely in the workplace, like we've already addressed, and we're earning a lot of money. And in fact, 1 out of 3 women out earn their husbands. So to say that women are the breadwinners, um, it's definitely becoming the majority here. We're out there getting education, we're out there opening up our businesses. I work with a lot of women entrepreneurs and business owners, and it's so fun to work with them and see how good they are as businesswomen. But also, there's a lot of challenges that being a business owner bring to the table too, because now you're, maybe not getting that consistent paycheck every month, and you have to find creative ways to plan out your financial future that maybe is not as easy as if you were working the corporate job that you might have had before. But women do really make, I think, great business owners because we have the ability to multitask. We really have this nurturing capacity to us that really allows for us to develop team members and help not only ourselves with the business, but help our community as well. So it's really inspiring to see how much progress we as women have made in the financial arena. However, like I mentioned earlier, there still are a lot of unique challenges we face. And, I just got off the phone with a woman, and we were talking about how the stock market definitely likes to project a lot of fear and uh, just emotions into us. And really, when we're planning out our financial future, it can get very intimidating to see, oh my God, there's so many negatives out there in the world. We have so much debt as individuals, we have so much debt as a nation. The stock market might crash, or the social security funds are going to run out. And while I do believe it's important to understand these unique challenges and roadblocks, we also have to be able to protect ourselves from it and not focus so much on the negative, but just say, okay, here's the fact. What can I do in my own financial life to proactively prepare to offset or prevent these things from taking me down financially or from surprising me financially down the road. So some of the challenges that women face in particular when it comes to planning out our financial future is that one there that we still live longer than men. So with that alone, we already have to save a lot for retirement. And now, because we're, on average living longer, we have to save that much more for retirement. So that's also, something to think about and bring into the financial plan and really see what can you do now in order to prepare for that. We still earn less than men. And while I know we've made tremendous progress on this front, I mean, just, years ago, we couldn't even open up a business loan without, or I'm sorry, a loan without a man to co-sign, or, women weren't even in the workforce. We're making money, but it's still less than men. And I talk a lot about this one because income really is I think, the number one way to create wealth over time. If we don't have money, we can't save money, we can't invest money. So as women, it's really important just to become aware of this statistic here and see, how can I negotiate? How can I learn how to value myself in the marketplace so that I am actually receiving and making the amount of money I deserve, whether that's a salary position or as a business owner, entrepreneur. And it doesn't have to be some scary thing where we all of a sudden are charging thousands of dollars more than what we're used to, or asking for so much more money. But it's a year by year progression to every year work on asking for more money and really understanding that the value you bring to your work is worth the money, and to not be afraid of that either. And just small negotiation tactics and strategies can really help you earn the amount you deserve in the workplace. Another unique challenge that women face is the fact that we are still primary caregivers in the household, which means we will be out of the workplace longer than men. So, for example, maternity leave, or staying home for a few years to raise the children, or possibly taking time out of the workplace to care for aging parents. All of these factors really make it a challenge, because if you're, again, not working and making money, it's hard to save money. And when you're not saving money or investing money for your financial future, then it's that much harder to accumulate the amount you need to support your years down the road. This is I don't think a challenge. I think it's really cool, actually. We are responsible for our own finances. So it's no longer defaulting to having the man do it, or having someone take care of us, relying on the government, relying on our significant other to manage everything. Women stay single longer, the divorce rate's high, we become widows. So at some point, whether you're doing it now or not, the likelihood that you're going to be solely responsible for your own finances is very high. And this, I think, is very empowering. So, if you look at this and say, okay, well, maybe that's not the case for me now, but I know that there's a high likelihood that it will be the case. What can I do now to learn about money, to feel educated around these financial strategies and concepts? So when that time comes, I'm not shocked, and I'm not just completely vulnerable and naive and scared about what to do, because I've learned these things along the way to prepare for this time. And this one here is, I think, a personal, well, not it's a personal opinion, but if you looked out in there in the world, you would probably relate to this last one here. That money and finance is still very masculine. If you looked at the stock market, or if you looked at these financial news outlets, or if you looked at the financial advisors as a whole, it's still operated predominantly by men. And because I'm a certified financial planner, so I do work with the CFP board and keep up to date on statistics there. And still, less than 20% of certified financial planners are women. So the fact that women are controlling a lot of wealth in America, we're out there making money, we're living longer, we're responsible for our finances, but only 20% or less of the advisors are women, makes it challenging to find somebody we can relate to and who understands us and understands these challenges we're facing and makes us feel comfortable with our financial plan and financial future. Another challenge that a lot of women face is that because we've really never received a solid financial education growing up, it's very difficult to figure out how to talk about money in our relationships in a way that's positive and productive. So, looking at all those statistics and facts earlier, because things are different than before, women are the breadwinners, women are business owners, women are the ones controlling household financial decisions. It can cause some tension in relationships, especially if we're not talking about money openly with each other, all of a sudden, roles aren't defined clearly. You might be earning more than your significant other, and that might, cause some challenges that you're not really aware of. Um, and sometimes we attract our financial opposites, which makes it challenging to work with our partners and significant others in the financial arena. So, just the fact that we're out there earning money can cause tension. Another challenge is just going back to that fact that a lot of the financial services industry and advisors are predominantly male or masculine oriented, really causes dissatisfaction in women. And this is something I've studied a lot in my career, and I've experienced actually a lot in my career. Doing the work that I do and focusing with women of all demographics, of all ages, I can't tell you how often I hear women say that they feel just stupid, that no one understands what their challenges are, or they feel too embarrassed or afraid to ask questions because they don't want to be talked down to, or they don't want their advisor to assume that they're just not smart women. And, I think regardless of who we are as women and what life stage we're in, um, it's really important to find somebody in the financial arena who you like, who you trust, and who makes you feel comfortable asking questions and helps you understand money and financial planning and helps you become empowered with these strategies and this area of your life, because it is possible and there are women out there who will do it and help you do it, and it's your responsibility to search and find those professionals you vibe well with. But I just also want you to know that they're out there. So if you feel dissatisfied, or if you feel like you really just don't have that relationship with someone at the present moment, keep looking, keep being on these webinars and learning about money, and the right one will come along, because the reality is you shouldn't feel this way, and I don't think you deserve to feel this way. And things are changing. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here. Things are changing. There are a lot of women professionals out there who can really relate to you in a whole new way. And I think the industry as a whole is very aware of this, and are trying to make efforts to change this as a whole. But in the meantime, it's definitely a possibility for you to find somebody that you really enjoy and like, and who can help you with this arena of your life. Another challenge that a lot of women face, and maybe we're not even aware of this, but we go through a lot of life stages, and every life stage makes it important for us to look at financial planning. So one of the biggest things, this webinar I wanted to make sure you got across was that you can proactively plan through each life stage. And that's why financial planning is so important, because as you go through life, you'll graduate college, get your first job, you're starting out trying to figure out how to manage your money, try to figure out how to budget. Then, you get married and maybe you start a family, and then all of a sudden you have two people who are trying to make these decisions, and you have kids that you're trying to pay for and figure out how to save for their college and still save for your retirement. And then you buy a home, and maybe you start a business, and then that changes everything in your financial life. And maybe you get a divorce or you become a widow, and then the whole thing changes again. So this is really why financial planning is so critical toward long-term financial success, because things change and they change all the time. And really, financial planning is just every year checking in, creating the plan, adjusting the plan, creating the budget, adjusting the budget, so that you are ultimately navigating through each life stage in the best ability that you can. And I think a lot of people get confused about financial planning and think that it's only for rich people, or they think it's only for people who understand money and have really complex financial situations. And the reality is, financial planning is for everyone. And it's actually, I think, more important if you don't have money or if you don't have a complex financial life to start with financial planning, because that's how you will build and that's how you will continue to navigate through these life stages and financial challenges in the most effective and efficient way. So the fact that women are just out there running the world, doing it all, makes it a little bit challenging. But again, it's not to focus on the negatives here, but just realize we as women are pretty cool. We can do a lot of things in life. We have so many roles in life, and taking on the financial role is possible. To become a financially wise woman is possible, regardless of your background, regardless if you had a financial education growing up or not, regardless if your parents were good with money or not, regardless of if you made a lot of mistakes in your financial life up until this point or not. It is possible to change things and become a financially wise woman who knows what to do with her money and who feels excited and empowered with saving and investing and can manage all these different challenges and aspects of her financial life in a very positive way. And, I always just like to say that because I think a lot of times we look toward other women as saying, wow, well, she just has it all going on, or we do this comparison game. I don't know if any of you do that, but I've definitely fallen victim to that one. And we always look toward other people and think, well, they must have something that I don't. They must know something, or they must have had some lucky, lucky event or lucky something happen to them that allowed them to get to where they are, that allowed them to become financially successful and well off. And whether that's true or not, you have that too. It's you have the ability to become whoever you want in your financial life, to use money however you want. And that is very exciting. And I always just say, if one woman can do it, so can you. There's no difference. It's just a matter of what do you really want from your situation and how are you going to take that first step to make it a reality. And being on this webinar, by the way, is definitely a great first step because, again, like I said, to carve out an hour of your day to learn about money, to learn about a topic that is so important is really admirable, and I hope you are aware of that. So what do you really want? That's a really good place to start because when we look at financial planning and then, tips to become a financially wise woman, so much of it comes from what your ultimate vision is for your life. What do you want from your finances? What do you want out of money? What do you want from your financial planner and the financial planning relationship that you have? And a lot of times, this is just what I've developed over the years, women just want a place where they can get holistic advice, where they can worry less, stress less about money, have things be more simplified, have peace of mind and clarity with their money, and ultimately really just get a financial plan in place to take care of themselves, their family, and their community. And it's a beautiful thing to see how women really use money. Again, these are just general statements. Everybody can decide to use their money differently. But I think when women are empowered around the money arena and finances, a lot of positive change happens, not only in themselves and their families, but in their communities and society as a whole. And I've definitely studied that aspect. So it's really cool to be a woman, understand we've come far in our financial lives. Yes, we still have financial challenges to incorporate into our financial plan, but it can be done, and we can become financially wise women who are out there tackling our finances in a whole new empowered way. So now that we've explored more of the holistic and, theory behind money and women, let's dive into actual tips and systems or strategies you can put in place today to begin this new journey. The first place to start would be really understanding where do you come from financially. And when I work with clients, one of the first things I send them before our initial call is a discovery kit. And in the discovery kit, I ask them a lot of questions. And the questions are not necessarily how much money do you have and how much do you have in your investment account, but they're around their financial history and figuring out what has been their experience with money up until this point. Because a lot of times people don't ever really think about this, but it is a huge component in how we're operating with money today. So when you do this exploration, and I really advise that you take time after today's webinar and do this activity, really think what has been your money story up to now. So recall all the way back, really look at those first money memories you've had. And growing up, what was your first experience with money? Did your parents fight about money? Was there open communication at the dinner table about money? Maybe you were raised by a single mom who was always stressed out and living paycheck to paycheck, and you develop some of these financial fears or paycheck to paycheck mentality, and maybe you're still operating under those mindsets today or those concepts today. Or maybe your parents would say things like, money is the root of all evil, and judge people for having too much money. And that might be something that's still lingering on in your financial life today. Maybe you're not earning as much as you would like or deserve because you think money's bad. And if you have too much money or earning too much money, it's a bad thing. Maybe your parents were wonderful savers, but they were really frugal. So if they're really frugal, those, it could be some good things that you learned from them. But maybe it's also causing you to be completely opposite right now and maybe spending way too much because you weren't able to spend growing up. Really diving into these stories and this past with your money is an amazing activity to give yourself. Because when you get clear about these things, you can see how they're playing out today in your financial life, and then begin the work to either keep those concepts or get rid of them and replace them with more positive, loving concepts. And I know this might seem completely woo-woo to some of you, and you're thinking, okay, Brittney, just tell me what I need to do to save more money or pay off my debt or invest more wisely. And I'll say, yes, we can definitely go over those things too, but you cannot leave this one out because your money mindset is affecting your financial success today, whether you want to believe it or not. And getting clear about your money history will allow you to know what that mindset is, and like I said, keep those thoughts and behaviors and concepts that are positive, and start to work on and improve the ones that are not so positive. From there, once we know where you come from financially, then we really have to address, where do you currently stand in your financial life? And I know this can be scary. I talk with a lot of people, women, men, and I think being a financial planner is always interesting because people tell me and share lots of money stories with me, not only my clients, but just out and about in the community and anytime I have a social interaction with somebody. They tell me about their money situation. And I'll be honest, so many people are afraid to look at where they stand in their financial life because they're really just terrified it's going to be so bad. And they do this avoidance behavior where they just say, you know what, I'll look at it tomorrow, I'll handle it tomorrow, or I have no idea what's going on and I don't even I'm just too scared to even look. So the avoidance mentality is just, I think, caused by a lot of fear and a lot of judgment on where we should be by now, or where we thought we'd be by now, or where we were told to be by now. And I just hope you can get rid of all of that. Just let it all go, because wherever you're at, just get clear where you stand and know that it's usually never as bad as you think it is. And wherever it is, now you know. Now you have clarity and you can begin to, one, improve it, two, acknowledge how far you've come and celebrate the progress, and three, create a game plan to continue to grow from here. So take inventory on your current financial situation and get in the know. This is your life. This is your responsibility. Understand how much money you make. Understand how much money goes out for all your expenses every month and a year. Calculate your net worth, which is your assets minus liabilities. Or a better way to say that is what you own minus what you owe. Know how much money you have in your bank accounts. Know how much money you have in your retirement accounts and how it's invested. Get clear about all the debt you have. Write out what type of debt it is, how much balance you have, the interest rate, the minimum payment. Figure out those insurance policies you've collected over the years. What are they? How much do you have? How much do you pay for them? Gathering all of these things in your financial life, I know it seems a lot, and trust me, I've been there and I understand, even though I'm a financial planner, sometimes it's overwhelming. But the sooner you can do this, the better off you'll be. Because like I said, it's slowly and surely diving into what you have, understanding it, and then working toward improving it or maintaining it. And again, it's usually never as bad as we think. So take the time and really figure out, where do you stand now? So once we explore where you come from financially, and we figure out where you currently stand financially, then we can create meaningful financial goals. So this is where we get to decide, how do I want to use my money? What do I want money for? And money is just a tool. You get to use this tool however you like. And it's very, very important for you to get clear about what the vision is you have, not what everybody else has for you. Because if you're like me, you maybe have done that before and it didn't work. But what's the vision you have for your life? If you had all the time and money in the world, what would you do? And I know this can be even scary, because I think a lot of times as women, we're afraid to allow ourselves to dream big. And, I've experienced this personal experience a few years ago. I had I was working as a financial advisor at a firm. I had over 7 years of experience, and I had some life-changing events happened, and I took the time to get clear about what I wanted my life to be. And I wrote out everything in each area of my life. I said, here's my dream business, here's my dream career, here's my dream relationship, here's my dream health and body, here's my dream relationship with my family and friends, here's my dream community. I got clear about every aspect of my life, and what happened after that was so cool, because it began the journey to create that in my life. It began the journey to let go of things that didn't work for me anymore and allow these things that truly my soul desired and I wanted and that were authentic to me, and begin to use my money to create this dream life that I wrote out. And I figured out that when I got clear about what my dream life was and I set goals that were attached to that, my goals had so much more meaning. So now that I was saving for XYZ, it meant so much more to me because it was so connected to this bigger vision that I had for my life. And again, I had to go through this whole emotional journey, and I'm sure a lot of you have, done something very similar. But I even had to allow myself to have permission to want these things. Give myself permission to say, no, I don't want to live the way that I thought I should, or society told me should, and I'm going to do this. And it was scary, but since that time, it's allowed me to have so much more fulfillment and happiness in life with my money, get excited, feel actually inspired to save and invest money in this whole new way. And that's what I think having a financial plan is all about. It's finding the ways that you want to use your money to live your life and building strategic, meaningful goals from that point. So this is a beautiful activity, and it's beyond just saying, I gotta save for retirement because I want to retire. It's saying, I would love financial independence where I'm able to work because I want to, travel at least one time a year internationally, go visit my grandkids, you know, take care of my well-being by, working out and eating right, visiting my friends on a regular basis. So when you're so much more clear about the goal, then again, you're going to feel more inspired to save and invest for that goal long term. So here are some tips, some tactical tips for goal setting. Once you figure out what that life is and you translate it into meaningful financial goals, then you can really begin to set up your accounts and savings plans accordingly. And just like anything, if you're changing your health or diet or workout regimen, you probably want to find people around you who can be your cheerleaders or can be a little support group for you. Because a lot of times when you're making change, it's hard. It's not easy to say, I want this and I'm going to have to change some things in order to have it. But if you have like-minded individuals around you who can support you and be there for you and congratulate you on your success, it makes it so much more enjoyable and also, I think, realistic to hold long term. So find people who are committed to a financial well-being path just like you and maybe become each other's buddies. All right, moving right along to tip number 4. Once you have those goals, then we got to figure out how to manage your cash flow, which is all about the budget. Now, I know this word scares a lot of people, and I think it's because we all just think of a budget as a restrictive diet that we have to cut out all the fun in our life in order to save for the future. But a new way to think about it is just really tracking your money coming in and going out and making smart, conscious decisions to adjust as needed to reach those goals that you have. We all know living within your means is critical to financial success long term. And this means just spending less than you earn. But the hard part is a lot of people don't even know what they're earning, and a lot of people don't even know what they're spending. So the first place is you have to figure out where's your money coming from and where does it go every month. And then begin to make the tweaks necessary so that you can work towards saving for those financial goals that you have. Now, the Financially Wise Woman Net Income Allocation Guide states this: 50% of your net income, which net income is just after-tax money, so that's, once taxes are taken out, should be allocated towards fixed expenses. And fixed expenses would include things like your mortgage, your rent, health insurance, car payment, utilities, those committed expenses you have every month. 20% is the goal to save toward your different savings categories, those goals that we just developed in tip number 3. And this is what I call the pay yourself first category from David Bach's book, Smart Women Finish Rich. 20% is the goal. And 30% then can be used on what I call fun expenses, or those variable items such as dining out, travel, self-care, clothes, entertainment, the things that hopefully bring us a lot of joy and satisfaction in life. So the first place you have to do is just start and figure out, where do you fall in this calculation? Do you even have enough money coming in to do this? If not, how can you make more money so that you can start saving? Or maybe you're making a lot of money but still spending way too much money in the fun expenses and not saving at all. So maybe you cut back on certain things so that you can work on that savings goal. But the whole point is savings should come out first. So fixed expenses, saving, then you spend the money left over guilt-free. And that allows you to, one, have your savings be automatic and allow you to spend money guilt-free, knowing that your bills are taken care of and your goals are taken care of. And it feels so much better. A lot of people I work with come to me and say, I want financial freedom. I want to be able to spend money and enjoy it. And I say, great, it's possible. Let's just set up your system like this so that it will work for you and you can have that freedom and guilt-free spending with your money. Another thing I want to point out is if you don't have the ability to save 20% right now, don't freak out. Start with something. Start with even 1%. If you can only put away 1% of your income right now, that's still better than nothing. And every year you can work toward increasing that number because small changes do add up. And 20%, I know that scares a lot of people because it's probably not realistic if you're not saving anything right now. But it's a goal to aim toward over time. It might take you 5 years, it might take you 1 year, it might take you 7 years. But over time, this is a great allocation guide to work toward because it lasts, regardless of what life stage you're in. This is a good rule of thumb. So becoming a master of your cash flow and really figuring out a budgeting system that works for you is important. And one, it allows you to save for your goals. And two, it allows you to spend that money on things that you really enjoy in life. And again, it's not meant to be restrictive. It's meant to bring conscious decision making to the table. So just figure out what your spending habits are. Where does your money go right now? What little tweaks can you make in order to free up money and save for other goals that you might have? And here, everybody is going to be different, and this is where it becomes very personal. So for example, I really enjoy coffee. Even I drink decaf, and it's just something I enjoy. So I was never the person who really liked this cut back on your lattes or coffee every morning and then you'll be able to save that money and invest it. I just didn't like it because it wasn't real for me, and I really enjoy having a conversation with a girlfriend of mine or a woman colleague of mine over coffee and talking. It's just part of my life. It's part of something I enjoy. So in order for me to make that a reality, I cut back on other areas. So for example, I don't go out to eat and eat out all these fine dining restaurants. It's just something that I don't need. So I cut back on that and I try to eat at home as much as possible. And I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I mean, I definitely buy clothes, but I'm not this, huge fashion guru. So I've made conscious decisions with my spending to cut back on certain areas that really don't bring a lot of joy and excitement to my life so that I can spend money on other areas that I do enjoy. And like I said, everybody's different, but this is why having a budget and becoming a master of your cash flows important, because it gives you the power to make the changes that are appropriate for you. So figure out where your money is going and how to adjust accordingly to figure out, that guide for yourself. Tip number 5, build a cash cushion and get out of debt. Having cash is important, and I am a big believer that I'd rather people save for cash and work on debt reduction before they allocate a lot of money for long-term investing. And I know that might be going against a lot of people's advice in the financial industry, because it's of course always better to start investing early to take advantage of compounding interest. But if you don't have any cash cushion and you're struggling paying your debts, it's not wise to put money in long term, because you need to focus on these short term things too. So having a cash cushion is just really to give you that cushion so when emergencies pop up, you have money to fall back on. And typically 3 to 6 months worth of your core expenses or fixed expenses should be in cash. And then the second component here to build that strong financial foundation is to work on getting out of debt. And these numbers a little bit outdated. You can see here it's from November 2014, but the US national debt is almost $18 trillion. So the fact is, we live in a debt nation. Personal debt per citizen is over 52,000, and compare that to our savings per family at 8,700. So America, is just known as a debt nation. And it's good to know that, not because we want to be okay with that, but if you have debt right now, and a lot of people do, I don't want you to feel like a failure. I don't want you to feel bad or ashamed or guilty about it. And that's part of coming clean with where you stand currently in your financial life, which was tip number 2. Because those negative emotions we have with our debt are only going to prevent us from paying it off sooner. So forgive yourself for the debt that you have and then get clear about some sort of game plan to pay off this debt more effectively, faster, as soon as you can. And here are some tips here. You can negotiate a lower rate. Definitely want to do that budget to see if you can add any more debt payments every month. You want to continue to save into a cash cushion. Because if you put all your money toward debt reduction, but you have no cash in your cushion, the next time an emergency pops up, you'll have nothing to fall back on, and you might have to use that same debt instrument you were working so hard to pay off. So this is where working with a financial professional becomes very important, because they'll be able to help you finalize or figure out the appropriate allocation and strategy for you in that debt reduction plan based on where you're at and your other goals that you have. But debt reduction is a big thing, and I have a whole series of videos about that. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me and I'll give you more about the debt. Because again, I think too, women, we carry a lot of emotions with our money, and I just hear time and time again how many women feel like a fraud or like they failed because they have debt. And you know, again, it's part of it to feel those emotions, but then it's also part to forgive and move forward and get clear about a game plan that will work for you. Moving right along, tip number 6, protect yourself against the unexpected. And this is where we look at insurance and all the different insurances we need at different life stages. And as women, it's really important that we protect ourselves, we protect our income, and we protect our assets and our loved ones. And insurance really is the glue that holds things together when unexpected events happen. And as much as we all like to think nothing bad will ever happen to us, it happens. The reality is things do happen, and insurance can really be there to give you that financial stability and not destroy everything you've worked so hard to create. So figure out what you have, figure out what you need, and work with a professional to get those right types of insurance policies in place. Tip number 7, make investing a top priority. So this is, what we usually hear about when we think about financial planning is invest, invest, invest. And what I've found and what I've studied is a lot of women make great investors once they understand it. So investing really is the main way to grow our money over time, because it allows us to take advantage of compounding interest. And compounding interest is what I like to call the eighth wonder of the world. So it's this magical thing that happens when you invest money and you start to build interest upon the interest that you've already received. And that compounding interest is what will help you create the amount of wealth you need to support your years later on in retirement. So a lot of people, when we think about, well, I need to have $1 million or $2 million or $5 million for retirement, how am I ever going to do that? Well, it's not that you have to save $1 million, it's that your money has to grow to $1 million, which is a huge difference. So as women, like we've already identified with these unique challenges we face, we live longer, we're out of the workforce, we make less than men, we have to leverage investing as much as possible. And we have to learn about it and become smart with it and see that investing is really the way to create the wealth we need to support our years later in life. And like I said, women do really make great investors once they know how to, go about it the right way. So some tips here: educate yourself on investing, hire a financial planner who can really help you understand it and teach you, invest for the long term, which is really just following more of a buy and hold strategy. And have faith. Have faith in the future, because a lot of times when the stock market cycles happen, we have our downs or, cyclical turns in the market, people get so fearful and afraid, and they lose faith. They lose faith that will come out again, that the markets will rebound, and that's where a lot of irrational decision making happens with investing, and people lose money or don't make the money they need and deserve because they were doing fear-based decision making. So when you have faith, it's really just a matter of, look, I'm investing in real estate, I'm investing in the stock market and mutual funds, I'm investing in people and companies, and I have faith that over time, if I stay connected, if I stay wise, things will improve. And if you looked at the trajectory of the stock market, of, investment returns, that is the case. People who stay the course are rewarded. Obviously, you have to be smart, and there's a lot of tips that goes into this, but you have to stay the course and remain faithful that things will improve. All right, we're moving right along to our last two tips. Tip number 8 is to raise your tax knowledge. I'm not a CPA, but as a certified financial planner, I do leverage lots of tax strategies for my clients. And this is where we figure out more of a tax diversified strategy, so that ultimately the investments and accounts that they're opening up are going to give them as much flexibility as possible when it comes time to taxes now and in the future. So by building your tax knowledge, you're able to really see, how are my dollars taxed today? How are they going to be taxed in retirement? And what can I implement to maybe diversify this or balance it out a little bit more to give me more freedom and flexibility? So taxes are very cool. I know a lot of us are fearful of them, but there's a lot of great ways that we can work with taxes instead of against them. And again, once you're educated and knowledgeable, you'll be able to see those strategies more clearly. And the last tip I have for you is, as you progress on this financially wise woman journey, build a support group of other financially wise women. Being in on this Savvy Ladies Wednesday Wisdom webinar is part of that support group. So kudos to you, because ultimately I think women are just so magical when we come together and in these circles and we support each other. And I have so many amazing women in my life. I host, women's masterminds. I'm part of women's groups, and honestly, that's what allows me to do what I do, to be successful in life and business and be happy and learn I'm not alone. I'm never alone, and I could rely on people to help me. And it takes a village. It takes a village to do anything in life these days. And so really, when you begin to change and pursue this financially wise woman path, you're going to inspire others, and find those that are like-minded, who are living this life too, and proactively committed to their financial futures, and share the journey with them and become a support system for each other. It's not only going to help you become more successful, I think it allows you to really have more joy and happiness in life in general. And I just cannot speak enough on this one, and that's why I'm so glad you're here in the Savvy Ladies community on this webinar, because this is, I think, how women really learn best and are, thriving in our best capacities in life. So build that support group and continue on your financial journeys. So we went over a lot today in this webinar, and again, just thank you so much for being on it, taking the time to learn about money. We explored the unique challenges women face, and why financial planning and learning financial education is extremely important. And then we dove right into those 9 actionable tips that you can start to implement now to really begin this new path in your financial life. So, my call to action for you is take action on one thing you learned today in the next 48 hours. Because we went over so much, it gets overwhelming. And it's, you're learning a new topic, you're learning a whole new language, and sometimes our eyes gets glossed over, or we think, "Oh my God, there's so much to do and learn. I don't have time." Don't do that. Choose one thing that stood out the most and do that only. Maybe it was that money past activity where you just take time to explore all the past experiences you've had with money up until this point to learn how those are shaping your mindsets today. Um, Maybe it's getting clear about your current financial situation, taking inventory on everything. Maybe it's finding a financial buddy who will be that partner for you on the financial journey. So just choose one thing and do it. Get it done. You can, I'm sorry. You can also schedule the free 30-minute discovery phone session with me. And if you go to financiallywisewomen.com, you'll be able to click the Work With Me page, and you'll just fill out that form, and we'll be able to schedule our phone conversation to see if I can be a resource for you with any of these items, whether it's through my online money class or financial planning relationship. And then you can also just sign up at financiallywisewomen.com to get the free toolkit. So my free toolkit actually has a dream worksheet in there, which will help you get clear about your meaningful financial goals. It has life stage checklists in there. It has my ebook in there, which goes over a lot of those same 9 strategies. It has a money personality test in there. Tons of free goodies. So definitely take action on one thing. Reach out to me and schedule or sign up at the Financially Wise Women community. And just continue pursuing the financially wise life, the savvy ladies life, and learning about money in this whole new way. So thank you so much for being here. I know we're going to open it up, I believe, for questions, and I'll hand it back to you, Maggie, to handle those.
Thanks, Brittany. That was really great. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
special offer to the Savvy Ladies community. So our first question is, I started a new job and now have some more money to put towards my savings. What are the best options for growing it?
Oh, good question. Well, congratulations on the new job. The best place would be to one, look at, do you have your cash cushion built up? So that was again 3 to 6 months worth of your fixed expenses in some sort of high yield savings account. So if you have extra money to save into that, that would be a good one. If you've already had that built, then this is where looking at your goals, short term and long term, would come up next. So if you don't have any other short term goals, then you could start to invest that for your retirement and leverage either a 401k or some sort of other retirement account. So hopefully that helps. It is a little bit more of a specific question, and that's where we can talk more, in detail. If you want to schedule that discovery session, by all means, we can go over more.
Okay, great. I think we have time for another question, which is, how would I know if I can afford something that I always thought I couldn't, but it might actually provide me with more financial benefits, something like a rental property? Is it more than just running a formula?
Yes, it is. For example, with a rental property, we would have to determine if you're going to do some sort of down payment. So how, much that will be, how long do we need to save for that? And then once you have that rental property, we'll figure out how does that change your monthly budget or cash flow, to take on that mortgage and receive the rental income and really offset some of those expenses that you're going to take on. So it is a little bit more than just a straight formula or calculation because we're also going to look into how does that affect other financial goals that you have, like retirement or cash cushion or debt reduction. But it's a really good thing to look at. So, talking to a financial professional can help you analyze that in a more holistic manner.
Okay, great. Well, I think we're about out of time, but thank you again so much, Brittney. We're so grateful for everything that you shared with us today, and thank you to everyone who attended and asked questions. We hope you'll join us again next week and check out savvyladies.org. And thank you again so much, Brittney.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, ladies. Bye.